Okay, let's get started. Welcome everyone to our True Jobs webinar. My name is Daniel Schmuck. I'm the research specialist with Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance. As you might have seen, we have recently launched our regional job board, and this affordable turnkey jobs board tool that has been created by TrueJob was for the specific purpose of serving the needs of both job seekers and employers in the region. Our metro area features a workforce that's younger and more educated than the national average. We have a substantial labor force in terms of both size and productivity, and often New Mexico's labor force is cited as being first in the nation for workforce productivity. As residents often live in one jurisdiction and work in another, area now provides this high quality showcase of key employers and job opportunities that can be a difference maker when residents are looking at career growth or newcomers deciding whether to move to our region. And so one of the things which makes this job board so powerful is that we are able to directly target other markets for recruitment opportunities by utilizing our other data tools. As you can see on this screenshot, one of our tools is MZ Burning Glass. And let's see, we have an electric engineer, for example. The position is posted on our job board, and then we can look at through our tool, we can look at the market, and we can then see other talents outputs in other markets. By doing so, we can then identify markets with an oversupply in certain professions, such as electric engineers, and even then the salary increases these people would experience by moving to the Albuquerque region when pay is adjusted to cost of living. You can see, for example, we would advertise an electric engineer position in the Los Angeles area with paid ads on LinkedIn or Facebook. And the earnings gain they would have is actually $23 per hour, so a substantial amount by moving to the Albuquerque market because it's adjusted to the cost of living. And yeah, so with that being said, I hope you and your companies will use this opportunity and gain some more insight through this webinar to post your open positions on the job board. This is a tool which will continuously improve for the benefit of employers and employees in the region. The fastest way of doing so is by increasing the number of positions being posted on the job board. And we will continue to promote online your positions on our social media channels. Now, let me introduce the co-founder of TrueJob, Scott Goci.
Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to this webinar. As Daniel said, my name is Scott Goci and I'm one of the co-founders of TrueJob. I wanted to present with you today a few different features of TrueJob, how you can get signed up for the job board, how you can kind of post jobs, how you can kind of administrate the job board, and do it all through by starting out on the abq.org website and continue through the entire process end to end. With that, let's kind of get started. Let's see if I can share my screen here and see if we can get going here. All right. So here we are on the abq.org website, and we're at this URL/jobs. If you've been here before, it probably looks familiar. If not, you can bookmark this URL, and I'm sure we can pass out this URL afterwards so you can know where to go to start off. On this page, you'll be able to see the job postings that have already kind of been listed on the job board and navigate between them as a job seeker. But let's sign up as an employer and see what that process looks like. Here below, we have this button that says click here to sign up as an employer. And when we click that, we are going to be sent up to a sign up page on the TrueJob website. And you'll know you're at the correct sign up page because it will say, here we are, here we have the area logo, and it says you are signing up for TrueJob through the Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance job portal. You'll be able to fill out your name, your email, your password, and you'll be able to sign up as an employer. We'll ask you to confirm your account afterwards, but after that happens, you'll be sent to our employer dashboard. From here, you'll be able to set up an organization related to your account. I've already kind of set up a demo one here, but the fields are roughly your company name, your website URL, how big your company is, maybe a short description. You can see this is a very short company description here. You can upload a logo, and of course, you can put the address of where you're located at too as well. Afterwards, then you'll be prompted to join the Albuquerque portal. And then once you do so, you'll have this section called Job Portals on the left, at which point you'll be able to see the Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance job portal, the website URL that we just came from, an email if you need to reach out to them and get any information back, and a status of pending. Now, what the status means is that Just because you apply to be part of the job portal does not necessarily mean you'll be accepted. Perhaps you are located outside the Albuquerque region, or perhaps your organization is not necessarily aligned with the area alliance, if you will. And if so, the Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance will be able to reach out to you and say, hey, you've been accepted. Feel free to post job postings to the job board, or I'm sorry, you've been declined, and here are the reasons kind of why. But while you're waiting for your job postings to be approved, you can still post job postings. They'll just also be in a pending state until your organization is approved, and also your job posting is approved too as well. In fact, if I bring up this down here, this is the email that you'll receive when you actually sign up for the job portal. It will say your organization has been submitted and is pending for approval. You will then get a company approval, at which point Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance will reach out to you and say, hey, you've been approved. And then afterwards, your job postings will be approved too as well. In fact, kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but you'll get a similar job email saying that your job posting was approved to be posted to the job portal. But let's go back into those job postings. So here on the left-hand side, we'll go over to job postings, and you can see we already have a job posting that I created already, but let's create a new one real quick, right? Here you'll add in basics like job title. We'll add a job description. Salary is an optional field. You don't necessarily need to add it to here, but if you do, we might be able to give you some more analytics as to whether the salary fits within the band for the region and the area that you're at. You can also set an expiration date. By default, you can set up to 90 days from now, the expiration date for your job posting, but perhaps your job posting is going to close early. You can set it up just a week out or a month out, all the way up to 90 days. Afterwards, you can choose whether to accept applications through TrueJob. TrueJob kind of comes with a built-in applicant tracking system out of the box. The idea is that it's a pretty simple applicant tracking system, but if you've been managing your job applications through Excel or not an official tool or anything like that, TrueJob can kind of act as that applicant tracking system. But if you are a perhaps larger employer who already has a applicant tracking system like Greenhouse or Lever or something like that, you can also just direct applicants to be able to be sent right to your website or right to your applicant tracking system URL. After that, you'll be able to put in the address as to where this job posting will be kind of located. You can also, of course, check accepting remote workers, as many job postings are remote these days. And then down here at the bottom, this is pretty important. You'll see that the posting locations where you can post to should include the Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance. Now you can see it still says approval required here because we haven't been accepted for approval yet, but we can choose whether to post to this one or not, and kind of do it on our end too as well. After we posted our job posting, again, we're back here on the dashboard, and you can see we posted it to the Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance, and it's in a status of pending. Again, we have to wait for our organization to be approved and then our job posting to be approved for it to finally show up. But even before that, we can kind of click into it and we can start to see some analytics about that job posting. So you can see here, because this one's already been posted, we've been able to see that a few views have happened in the past day. A few people have kind of clicked the apply click link to as well. Behind the scenes, that was just me testing to kind of show off some of the analytical data. You can also see how long on average people have spent on that job posting too as well. And you can even start to get into more deeper and fine-grained analytics, such as how does your job description length compare to others? In this case, my job description was about 3 words. So you can see it's right here down here at the very, very bottom, compared to the average job description length of around 400 words. Similarly, you can look at the readability score. The readability for 3 words is pretty simple. So you can see our readability score is pretty low, which is actually what we want. We don't necessarily want the job description to be very difficult to read. And if you had put in some salary information and we were able to match up the job title that you posted with other jobs that we have in our database, we can give you some pay comparison data too as well. Similarly, if you started to receive applicants, you'll be able to see applicants here at the bottom. You'll be also able to manage your job applicants here over here on the left-hand side. Or if you've received them or forwarded them to your own applicant tracking system, they'll be sent over to your applicant tracking system kind of seamlessly. That's the rough outline that I wanted to cover here. In this kind of demo, we were able to show off how you register, how you post jobs, the approval process behind the scenes, and some of the analytics. And so with that, I'm going to pass it then back over to Daniel, and we can talk about some Q&A or other things like that. So Daniel, back over to you. Let me stop sharing my screen here too as well.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, so I hope this was helpful, this overview of how to register, post jobs, and track those jobs in the future. We are now opening the floor for a Q&A, and please feel free to post your questions in the chat if you haven't done so yet. I see we have one question already in the chat room. And it says, I find the element of a college degree to be a fading desire with many talented millennials. And we as employers are missing a lot of talented high-level computer and engineering candidates because they aren't able to really describe their talents and skill set because they can't get past the regular job site website requirements to show their talent. What are the thoughts on that?
And let me read through this too as well to see if I can give some input here. A lot of this is on the employer to kind of recognize the abilities of the job seekers and be able to look past the educational level kind of too as well. So for example, TrueJob by default, when you receive applicants into the system, they're presented kind of neutrally. In other words, you're able to see their resume, you're able to see their information, but it's up to kind of the employer to judge what criteria that they want in order to bring the talented candidates that they're targeting into their company and into their system. So you don't necessarily need to target people that have, the top 10 school or anything like that. They can really focus for candidates that have those talents in that ways. And so just to make sure that I'm answering the spirit of the question, describing their talents and skill set on the job seeker side is definitely an art for sure. So figuring out the best way to kind of present that, but this is kind of where both the cover letter, where you talk about why you care about the company and why your talents are important for the job posting, come into play. And spending a little bit of time crafting that resume to be either tailored to the job or focus on those things that you really want to show off is important, at least in my mind. That's how I'd kind of address that too as well. But let me know if that kind of answered it or just kind of beat around the bush, if you will.
I also see that we had another question by Laurie, if the tool is free to use, and you might have seen it. I already answered it. It is free to use for the community. It is an additional asset area would like to offer, and it's free to use for employers and employees or respective people, job seekers. So yeah, there's no cost associated with it, and we will we do run free unpaid ads and paid ads in these different markets, but there's, like I said, no cost to that. And we have another question in the chat. How is job description readability done in analytics?
Well, the company answer would be that there's some secret sauce type of here, right? But really behind the scenes, we try to make it as flexible as possible. And in fact, I think we even have like a little question mark next to all our analytics as to why they're and how they were generated. And so in this case, it was just a Flesch-Kincaid kind of readability test in that sense. So it's kind of a standardized way of determining readability across the board. And so we employ that in our system in order to kind of give these analytics. Again, the feeling that if we provide people with the data, they can choose whether or not to modify it or not, but at least they'll have the data to kind of maybe make better decisions in changing the job description to something that hits the applicants, hits the target demographic that they're going for. But hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you, Scott. I also wanted to, I don't see we have any other questions. Please clarify if that helped with the job description readability. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about our data tool, MZ Burning Glass, where we can look at intel from other markets. So how that works is the data tool uses local data sources, like the states, like in California, for example, with the Los Angeles example, with the electric engineer. It uses a local workforce data. It looks at local graduate numbers and other data, such as the amount of people with that particular degree employed in these areas and in different companies. And so with that data, we can then see, okay, there's an oversupply of around 2,000 degrees, which would be applicable for this particular position. And it also uses other demographic and economic data, such as median salary and how that cost of living adjusted would play out if they would move here, working in a similar position with their degree. So that we can actually make it even more attractive for an employer, for an employee to move to the Albuquerque region by showcasing that they would actually gain in income. And I see we have another question in the Q&A chat box. Do you want to touch on that, Scott?
Sure, yes. So behind the scenes, we keep a lot more analytics that than we necessarily expose to employers. And we obviously test experiments into new sources of analytics that we could provide based on the job description, based on the job title and other things like that. I touched upon it a little bit too as well, but of course, even within the graphs that I showed off, there's things like job description length and kind of pay comparisons if we can match it up to a job title that we recognize too as well. But behind the scenes, if there's more analytical data that you'd be more curious about, in other words, I know some people want to kind of identify patterns within the language they're used in the job description to maybe adjust for more gender neutral approaches versus maybe having certain masculine or feminine aspects to the job description. There's definitely things we're looking into that. And there's a lot of different analytics that we could expose. Again, we keep track behind the scenes. We're always trying to figure out what's best for the employers and for the portal administrators to show off to as well. So if you have ideas, we'd love to hear them too. My email is scott@truejob.com. If you have more analytics or more data or are just curious about things within the job description, we'd be glad to hear it too as well and start to expose some of that data if we can, for sure.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can also send them to me and I will relay them to Scott. I am the on-point person for TrueJobs for area. And so if you have any issues with registering or posting jobs, just contact me and we will figure that out. Any other questions? Okay. So Paula wrote, I have to give you some reference to what this is not a question. Yeah, so yeah, please, but that would be great if you could send us those references. And I don't see any other questions coming up. I'm just waiting a moment. And we will do these recaps of the TrueJobs tool periodically. About like twice a year, just for people to get an insight into how to sign up if they have seen it on social media and yeah, have some questions about how to register and how to post. So we will just do this periodically for the community to register and use this tool and just spread the word, because the more people register and the more jobs are being posted, the more robust this tool of course becomes. And yeah, we're looking forward of the community for the community to benefit from this. I see we have some more questions. Lisa asked how many companies do you have as clients in the Albuquerque metro area? I'm not sure, are you referring to how many employers currently posted or currently registered with the website? Right now we have about 15 employers, large and small ones. We have around 50 jobs posted right now. And this tool is made possible by the Bank of Albuquerque, whose jobs are also posted on the website. Yeah, so about 15 jobs, 15 employers with 50 jobs right now. And of course, it's fluctuating. We sometimes have more, we sometimes have less. And we're just looking forward for more employers to sign up there. And so are there any more questions? I don't see any. Yeah, so just a little addition, this video is being recorded and we will post that on our website as a tutorial, just as a future reference for you to use. So I think that is it. We got a little bit ahead of time, so that is good. Giving you back 10 minutes. And if there are no more questions, then I think we can wrap it up and thank you for attending our webinar. This is the first one this year, and we will look forward to having used that tool. Thank you, everybody.